Natick is a town in Middlesex County, Massachusetts, United States. Natick is located near the center of the Metro West region of Massachusetts, with a population of 45,796 at the 2010 census. Only 10 miles west from Boston, Natick is considered part of the Greater Boston area. The center of population of Massachusetts in 2000 was located in Natick. Name. The name Natick comes from the language of the Massachusetts Native American tribe and is commonly considered to mean place of hills. However, a more accurate translation may be place of searching. Named to celebrate John Eliot's successful search for a location for his praying Indian settlement. History. Natick was first settled in 1651 by John Eliot, a Puritan missionary born in Whitford, Hertfordshire, England, who received a commission and funds from England's Long Parliament to settle the Massachusetts Indians on both sides of the Charles River, on land deeded from the settlement at Dedham. They were called praying Indians. Natick was the first and for a long time served as the center of Eliot's network of praying towns. While the towns were largely self-governing under Indian leaders, the praying Indians were subject to rules governing conformity to English Puritan culture. Eliot and praying Indian translators printed America's first written Bible in the Algonquin language. The colonial government placed such settlements in a ring of villages around Boston as a defensive strategy. Natick was the first and best documented of such settlements. The land was granted by the General Court, part of the Dedham Grant. A school was set up, a government established, and the Indians were encouraged to convert to Christianity. In November 1675, during King Philip's War, the Natick Indians were sent to Deer Island. Many died of disease and cold, and the Indians who survived found their homes destroyed. The Indian village did not fully recover, and the land held in common by the Indian community was slowly sold off to white settlers to cover debts. And, by 1785, most of the Natick Indians had drifted away. In 1775, both English and praying Indian citizens of Natick participated in the battles of Lexington and Bunker Hill, as well as serving in the Continental Army. The names of the praying Indian soldiers from Natick are memorialized on a stone marker, along with all of Natick's Revolutionary War veterans. On a stone marker on Pond Street near downtown Natick. The town was officially incorporated in 1781. Henry Wilson, a U.S. Senator born in 1812 who became 18th Vice President of the United States, and who lived most of his life in Natick as a shoemaker and schoolteacher and was known as the Natick Cobbler, is buried there. He is the namesake of one of Natick's middle schools. Though Natick was primarily a farming town, the invention of the sewing machine in 1858 led to the growth of several shoe factories. The business flourished and peaked by 1880, when Natick, with 23 operating factories, was third in the nation in the quantity of shoes produced. The shoes made in Natick were primarily heavy work shoes, with only one or two companies adding lighter dress shoes to their line. Natick was famous for its brogan, a heavy ankle-high boot worn by soldiers in the American Civil War. The wound core for a more resilient baseball was developed by John W. Walcott and combined with the figure-eight stitching devised by Carl William A. Cutler. It was manufactured by the firm of H. Harwood & Sons in the factory built in 1858, the first plant in the world for the manufacture of baseballs. In 1988, the H. Harwood & Sons factory was converted into baseball factory condominiums in 1874. The Great Fire in downtown Natick demolished 18 business blocks, 2 shoe factories, the town hall, Natick's only fire engine house, and the Congregational Church, as well as many private homes. Though no lives were lost, the loss of property was greater in proportion to the town's wealth than the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. In 1875, Natick's new Central Fire Station was completed on Summer Street and opened with grand ceremony on the same city block where the Great Fire was first discovered. The central fire station is now the home of a private non-profit community performing arts center called the Center for Arts in Natick. Miles 8 through 12 of the Boston Marathon run through Natick on Patriots' Day every year along Route 135, Central Street, and thousands of residents and visitors line the road to watch. 2010 census data. The median population of Natick according to the 2010 census was 41.1 years old. There were 15,777 male citizens, accounting for 48.1% of the total population. There were 17,009 female citizens, accounting for 51.9% of the population. There were 29,233 white or Caucasian citizens, accounting for 89.2% of the population. There were 2,714 Asian citizens, accounting for 8.3% of the population. There were 982 Hispanic or Latino citizens, accounting for 3.0% of the population. There were 865 Black or African American citizens, accounting for 2.6% of the population. There were 135 Native American and Alaska Native citizens, accounting for 0.4% of the population. Geography and climate. According to the United States Census Bureau, the town has a total area of 16.0 square miles, of which 15.1 square miles of it is land and 1.0 square mile of it is water. The total area is 7.04% water, including bodies of water Lake Cochituate and Dug Pond, communities and neighborhoods. Natick Center, which is also known as Downtown Natick, is located at the intersection of Central Street and Main Street and serves as the civic and cultural hub of the town. Many public services and public land use are located downtown. Municipal buildings like the Natick Town Hall, Natick Fire Department, Natick Police Department and Morse Institute Library are located here along East Central Street. Also located directly downtown is the Natick Town Common where many town events and community activities are held. Natick Center Station, located in the downtown area, is served by the MBTA commuter rail Framingham-Worcester line. In the 1990s, new downtown construction of a town hall, fire, police station, and enlargement to the library gave the downtown a fresh new look. New municipal buildings exist alongside several historic buildings and churches, the restored Central Firehouse, several banks, restaurants and small businesses. The Massachusetts Cultural Council voted unanimously Tuesday, August 21, 2012 to make Natick Center one of the newest state-designated cultural districts, the 10th district to win this designation from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The Cultural Districts Initiative is designed to help communities attract artists and cultural enterprises, encourage business and job growth, expand tourism, preserve and reuse historic buildings, enhance property values, and foster local cultural development. Natick Center Cultural District is anchored by the Center for Arts in Natick, Morse Institute Library and the Natick Common. South Natick, known for its scenic nature, is where the Native American settlers first arrived and began the town on the shores of the Charles River. Housing developers like Martin Cyril lived in South Natick, and thus refrained from building major tract neighborhoods in this part of town. Most South Natick residents consider themselves to have a strong, separate cultural identity from the rest of Natick. It is the only community in Natick that can be separately addressed officially via the U.S. Postal Office, and street signage such as a sign located along Route 16 coming from Wellesley communicates arrival in, so, Natick. East Natick is a community of Natick that is located along Oak Street and at the intersection of Oak Street and Worcester Street. Notable landmarks include Jennings Pond, the Industrial Park on Oak Street North, and the Lilja School. A sports and tennis club is located in East Natick off Oak Street, in a part of the Industrial Park. The stretch of Route 9 in East Natick as one heads into Wellesley contains a multitude of ever-changing retail businesses. West Natick is a large section of Natick that borders the town of Framingham. The Natick Mall, as well as the strip mall called Sherwood Plaza, with its office industrial park behind, are considered to be the commercial hub of West Natick. In addition to its retail development, post-World War II housing developments like Westfield, Pelham, and Sherwood, as well as the National Guard depot and a golf course on Speen Street, brought many people to this part of town. There are many businesses in West Natick along West Central Street, as well as another MBTA commuter rail station in addition to the one downtown. The area in West Natick, along Route 135, is the most densely populated section of town, with its thousands of condominiums and apartments clustered across the street from the train station. Neighborhoods. Natick is a small town, and thus, the various sections of tract development homes are considered neighborhoods. These were houses built by several contractors in the late 1940s until the late 1950s. Listed here are a few of these sections. Sherwood, one of the earliest post-World War II developments in West Natick. The homes are colonial in style, with street names reminiscent of the Robin Hood legend. The homes were built in 1948 and the neighborhood remains popular due to the fact that there's no through traffic, and most of the houses have been enlarged with additions. Walnut Hill is a neighborhood located north of downtown. It is known for the private boarding school, Walnut Hill School, as well as many Victorian-era houses lining Walnut and Bacon Streets. Wethersfield. The Wethersfield area of Natick is a residential neighborhood north of Route 9. It is a typical 1950s development of Campanelli Ranch houses, and remains popular with first-time home buyers, due to the relatively inexpensive nature of slab-style houses. This area includes Drury Lane and all connecting roads within the boundaries of Route 9, Pine Street, and Route 27, Oak Street, south of RTE 9. This section began as a summer vacation area, with tiny cottages surrounding Jennings Pond. Over the years, some houses were enlarged, but the area remains quaint and quiet with no through traffic. On the westerly side of South Oak is a neighborhood of Cape-style houses with streets named after World War II generals. North of Route 9, other developments of small Cape-style homes were built in the early and mid-1950s, and these houses remain popular with first-time home buyers due to the affordability of the houses. There are two industrial parks along North Oak Street which contain office buildings on one side of the road, and larger warehouses on the eastern side. Little South. Just south of the Natick Common, Cottage Street begins what is commonly called Little South, named so because of its proximity to South Natick. Little South nomenclature extends to the east portions of Everett Street, down to Elliott Street. Homes along Cottage Street were primarily built in the early 1950s and are mostly modest and well-maintained. The best-known landmarks in Little South are a World War II monument dedicated to the fallen soldiers from Natick, and the Tobin School, a private daycare and elementary school that has two large, attractive buildings off of Cottage Street. Everett Street has larger farm homes situated on generous lots. Elliott Street, which runs parallel to the Charles River, boasts some of the oldest and nicest homes in Natick. Just before South Natick begins, there is a beautiful Virgin Mary statue on a large rock on the south side of the Charles River, enveloped by graceful pine trees. Demographics. As of the census of 2010, there were 32,786 people, 13,080 households, and 8,528 families residing in the town. The population density was 2,132.9 people per square mile. There were 13,368 housing units at an average density of 886.3 per square mile. The racial makeup of the town was 59.4% white, 12.6% African American, 0.11% Native American, 3.2% Asian, 0.05% Pacific Islander, 0.85% from other races, and 2% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 12.3% of the population. There were 13,080 households, out of which 30.3% had children under the age of 18 living with them, 54.5% were married couples living together, 8.2% had a female householder with no husband present, and 34.8% were non-families. 28.3% of all households were made up of individuals, and 9.8% had someone living there alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.42 and the average family size was 3.02. In the town, the population was spread out with 23.0% under the age of 18, 5.1% from 18 to 24, 34.3% from 25 to 44, 23.3% from 45 to 64, and 14.3% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 38 years. For every 100 females there were 89.7 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 85.3 males. According to a 2007 estimate, the median income for a household in the town was $81,855, and the median income for a family was $105,056. Males had a median income of $51,964 versus $41,060 for females. The per capita income for the town was $36,358. Natick is surrounded, on three sides, by 5 of the 10 most affluent towns in Massachusetts, with Wayland to the north, Weston to the northeast, Wellesley to the east, Dover to the southeast, and Sherborne to the southwest. In addition to these 5 very wealthy communities, Framingham lies immediately to the west. Framingham is largely lower class and has areas of semi-rural affluence, although Framingham has the issue of urban blight in its downtown area. Government. Town Natick has representative town meeting form of government with a board of selectmen and a town administrator. The current members of the board and the dates their terms end are: Joshua Ostroff, Chairman, 2015; Charles M. Hughes, Vice Chair, 2016; Nicholas S. Mabody, Clerk, 2017; Richard P. Jennett, 2016, and John Connolly, 2017. County mismanagement of Middlesex County's public hospital in the mid-1990s left the county on the brink of insolvency, and in 1997 the Massachusetts legislature stepped in by assuming all assets and obligations of the county. The government of Middlesex County was officially abolished on July 11, 1997. The sheriff and some other regional officials with specific duties are still elected locally to perform duties within the county region, but there is no county council or commissioner. However, communities are now granted the right to form their own regional compacts for sharing services. These are the remaining elected officers for Middlesex County: Clerk of Courts, Michael A. Sullivan; County Treasurer, position eliminated; District Attorney, Marion Ryan; Register of Deeds, Richard P. Howe, Jr., Eugene C. Brune; Register of Probate, Tara E. DiCristarero; County Sheriff, Peter Koutoukien. Education. Public schools. The Natick Public School District operates the following schools: High School, Natick High School. The high school building on the shore of Dug Pond was opened in 1954. In order to avoid loss of accreditation, the residents voted approval of a tax override, aka debt exclusion, for construction of a new high school building and related improvements. Demolition on the 1954 building began on June 25, 2012. The new building design is based on a model approved by the state of Massachusetts. This was necessary in order to maximize state reimbursement for design and construction. It cost $80 million. The new high school is adjacent to the old high school and opened to students on August 29, 2012. Middle schools: Kennedy Middle School, Wilson Middle School. Elementary schools: Brown Elementary School, Lilja Elementary School, Memorial Elementary School, Bennett Hemingway Elementary School, Johnson Elementary School. Private schools: Walnut Hill School, the Riverbend School, the Tobin School, Brandon School and Residential Treatment Center, a school within a residential treatment center.